Hi, I'm Jonathan Knight, and this is B-Movie Madness. Tonight, I'm reviewing a request from one of my subscribers, Radioactive Roadkill. The movie he wanted me to watch. I don't actually own a copy of it. Unfortunately, it's only available on VHS, and it's one of those VHS movies that goes for a couple $100. So there's no DVD release, so I had to do it the old school way. Or not really old school. I had to do it the way today. I had to download the movie. And I watched it. Before I get into, the details about it, the movie is Gore-met, Zombie Chef from Hell, and it's a 1986 horror comedy about a man who is cursed by some Satanists to have immortality, but only if he consumes human flesh. So cut to 600 years later to 1986. He has opened a restaurant in which he consumes his customers, Snoopy cops, health inspectors, whatever he can get his hands on. The one thing about this movie, going in, the one thing I thought the movie was, I thought it was shot on video. And I found out very quickly as the movie started that it was not shot on video. It was shot on Super 8 film. So I was kind of thrown off a little bit, Super 8 does look super low budget. It looks very murky, especially this movie. But I was really surprised to see it wasn't shot on video. I love shot on video horror movies, but it was really cool, because I went in not expecting that. I found this movie very charming. I enjoyed it. The title is slightly misleading. He's not a zombie chef. He's a cannibal. So it's a cool title though. So I can't really fault them for that and the cover art is amazing. If you ever see the VHS cover art, it's amazing. The one thing, as much as I was turned by the movie, the first 2 acts of the movie has a shit ton of padding. You can tell this was like a shorter movie that they knew they needed it longer. They stretched it. It's only 70 minutes. They stretch basically a 40-minute movie to 70 minutes. 70 minutes. And there in the first 2 acts there is a lot of pacing. There's a lot of long dialogue scenes. There's a musical act. There's a dance party with some topless women, and I love me some topless women, but that scene goes on for a little bit too long. But and the gore part of the movie, even though there is plenty of dismembered body parts and other things, it's not as gory as you would expect. I thought going in the movie it would be basically a shot-on-video version of Blood Feast. It's not nearly as gory as that. It kind of reminds me of Wood Chipper Massacre, which if you've seen that movie, it's not very gory. This is definitely a more gruesome movie than that, though. And there is one incredible on-screen kill, and that's when, I believe it's a cop gets his head punched off by one of the chefs at the restaurant. And it's amazing. It's the only real... There's a couple on-screen kills. That's the best on-screen kill. A lot of the stuff is after the fact. You see him, chopping up people, and it cuts to, dismembered body parts and all that. But when it gets into the 3rd act, that's when the plot kind of really truly kicks in. You find out, despite them cursing the man, the Satanists want to kind of stop. His name is Goza. I thought it was Gozer. I was like, oh, Ghostbusters. No, his name is Goza, and they want to stop Goza from eating people and all that. Even though they're Satanists, what do they give a fuck? And there's a scene where one of them is trying to stop him, and he's using the Force. They're using the Force, the satanic Force, to harm each other, and eventually gets his heart ripped out. Fun times. The movie has some really, really oddball editing too. There's a scene where a guy is standing on a chair with a knife, prepared to stab Goza as he comes in the room, and suddenly, in a split second, his girlfriend, or the girl he was with, has stabbed him in the stomach, and you find out that Goza hypnotized her to do that. But the editing is so oddball. It felt like I was missing. The copy I was watching was corrupt, so I went and did my research, and now it's just editing. The acting is as bad as you would think from the title like this. The movie looks it looks a little bit too dark and murky at times. This is a movie I think would look great restored if they can find the original Super 8, file. They did The Dead Next Door. J.R. Bookwalter restored his Super 8 movie, The Dead Next Door, and it looks great for a Super 8 movie. But overall, I found this movie very charming and fun. It's definitely a movie I can't recommend to everybody, to most people, because they're going to look at it wow, this movie is total shit. But I found it charming. It did feel like a homemade, passion project. The director, Don Swan, who, according to IMDb, sadly passed away at 39 years old, 95. No details. I can't find any details about it. It did feel like a passion project for the director. You could tell he was a fan of Blood Feast and all that kind of stuff. And he probably didn't have a long. He didn't have a movie that ran an hour long, so he stretched it. Uh, he did stretch it with some nudity, so I'll give him some points for that. I do feel that, instead of shooting it on Super 8, they could have shot it on video and took that money and just put a lot more gore into it. Because what I was expecting, I said earlier, I was actually like the scene in Video Violence where these two people are killed in the deli. I was expecting the movie to look and feel like that scene, and instead it felt just like a homage to Blood Feast shot in Super 8 film, and they didn't have a long enough movie, so they just stretched it. But once it gets to the third act, it starts to move fast. There's a final twist at the movie that I was like, what? What? Really? I said, fucking them game. And there's a point in the movie where Goza starts to rot, and there's a gruesome scene where he rips some of his flesh off his arm. So there is some gruesome imagery. It's not goreless. I've read a lot of reviews that says goreless. It's not goreless. And there is plenty of gruesome imagery, bloody body parts, decapitations, rotting flesh. It's just not as gory as you would expect from the title, because it's called Gore-met, and there's no zombie. But this is a movie I wouldn't mind seeing remade. Somebody could actually really do a good job of remaking it. No CGI gore, please, no CGI gore. It would be really awesome to see a remake of this, because I think it's a fun idea. But if you want to watch this movie, at the end of this video, I'll have a link on screen. It's on YouTube, and I believe it's the full 70-minute movie. It's there, and I'll have a link to my previous review, which is Retro Puppet Master. But if you are in the mood for a really bad Super 8 love letter to Blood Feast with some shitty acting, an awful but wonderfully awful score. It sounds so good, but so bad it's so good. And some lot of dismembered body parts, and a bad guy whose name that sounds like Gozer, but it's Goza. And a really, really what the fuck final twist. I highly recommend this movie to you, but be prepared. It's a stinker. But for me, I thought it was a charming, fun stinker, and I am so glad I watched it. So I would like to thank Radioactive Roadkill for recommending it to me. And if you have anything else you want me to watch, I will happily do so. I do have a few more reviews. I got my Santa hat on. I'm doing a Christmas episode before Christmas of the Star Wars Holiday Special, because I've never seen it, and it feels like something to do. And I want to do Silent Night, Deadly Night before Christmas too. The first one, at least. I was going to do the second one, but I need to do the first one first. But maybe I'll do the second one as well. You never know. But if you like my channel, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm Jonathan Knight, and it's been B-Movie Madness. Thanks for watching.